go and look for loo roll in the toilets, and this is the option I picked. Right? It's quite busy in this restaurant, so I'm sat in the toilet, hoping I can hear people coming in or out to decide if there's people in there, and I need to not do this, right? And after a while, I think it's pretty empty in the toilet, so I unlock the door, and I sort of walk out of the toilet cubicle, right? And I go across to the next cubicle like a shitty space invader. Back into the cubicle behind me, and I lock the door in the second cubicle, and thank God there's loo roll in there. I wipe away, I unlock the door, and I walk to the sink, the most arrogant walk of my life, thinking I've gotten away with this, right? As I'm washing my hands, the toilet attendant I hadn't seen just went, that was close, wasn't it? Yeah, it was, mate. Here's £20, never tell anyone about this again. So I could have used that to wipe my ass. Got the Queen say something, that's disrespectful. That's the poo stuff over, don't worry. The human poo stuff over, there is some animal poo stuff later. Look forward to that. I really like you lot because like you really like a bit and then you go, next one please. Like I like this because it's sort of half comedy gig and half village hall meeting about planning. That's sort of the vibe, isn't it? Up next is Ethel, she wants to put an extension on her house here in Chorley, and we're going to have a little question Q&A. Like that, once again, back to silence, love it. It's like I'm playing a game and I'm like respawning every joke. Come up here, you're going to work fucking hard for this. Right, guys. Because I want to do nice things to your girlfriend. Welcome back. No. I'm not having the first applause break of the gig because someone using the toilet. I drove 7 hours to get here and I'm busting my balls. He walks 30 fucking feet and you're like, oh, well done, John. I'm surprised because she eats bread for a living. All that gluten, what a nightmare. I love that laugh that you got. You sound like a Looney Tunes character falling down a cliff. We're all lovely, but a bit weird. I think men have had it easy a lot in relationships over the years. I'm trying to redress the balance. Like my government makes it, oh yeah, they after you. It's like some sort of weird domino effect here. Like 3 people left after you. They haven't come back there, they don't know if they're actually in the loo. Once, I was once doing a gig and a woman, I was like, oh, you off to the loo? And she went, no, I don't like you. Fine, no, fine, I don't mind. No refunds, so what are you going to do? So I talk just about, like, do you make an effort with, like, manscaping and, like, look at you're a very well-dressed man, you're very well put together, it looks like you make a bit of an effort. Do you do all that, like, you know, look after yourself, moisturise and things? No. Do you, George? Is that
yes.
Yes. Oh, your dad? Yes. What kind of stuff do you do? Like, what's your routine?
Get out of the shower, put a bit of moisturiser on.
And you good to go?
Yeah.
Is it more than that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just asking, like, do you manscape? You know, like all the
Once a week.
Once a week? I think that's quite often, actually. Like, you know, for many years I used to do it and then wait until it looked like Albert Einstein again, and then that's when I do it a second time. But I thought I'd made the effort with my girlfriend recently, so I thought, you know, it's a sexist thing for men to not bother. So I recently went for a Hollywood wax. Now, I don't know if you know what a Hollywood wax is. A Hollywood wax, if those are not in the knowledge, is everything gone from your genital region, all of it, like every little stitch. I went for this wax, thinking my girlfriend would really like it, thinking she might find it, you know, sexy and things like that, because in like pornography and things, that's the ideal. And I went for this wax in a very dodgy little salon, where she didn't do a very good job. I'm not going to lie. I think she used candle wax. I was very... like it was ad hoc, that's what it felt like. It felt like a thing of going, yeah, we can do that, why not, right? And she was actually a very nice woman. She was Spanish, and I say she was Spanish because I ended up saying some very regrettable things about Brexit as she tore my hair out of me, right? And she starts you off and they lie you on your front, she's going, lie on your front please. And then all of a sudden they like pull you down your trousers and they pull your bum cheeks apart. You go, okay, cool. And they kind of put wax on your bum hole. It feels like you're being fucked by a bee, I'm not going to lie. Right? She says your bum hole and they rip off the strips and you go, that was actually fine. Right? Because my bum hole is a mess anyway. I'm not sure. And they turn you over and they start on your front. And they start to wax you. and I don't know if it's meant to bleed, but it bleeds. I wore white boxers to that appointment, and I now own a really nice pair of red polka dot boxers. They look like a Jackson Pollock painting, you know, just like a mess on the front, right? And she kind of does it all. But it's this weird thing, because you realise things about your body when you're seeing things for the first time, right? Like, I didn't realise there's hair on your willy. Who knew that, right? Like this hair that goes up the side of your willy. Not like loads, not like all the way up, right? But like there's a bit of an Abe Lincoln going on, do you know what I mean? Like a bit of moss on the base of the tree. So you look down, because she did all of my genitals, and she left my willy till last, right? So I look down on my willy, and it's bald apart from the side. So it's looking up at me like, hello! My penis reminded me of John McCririck, right? What the fuck is going on? Where'd you get the deer stalker and the cigar from? The 430 Ascot, thanks for the tip. Right? So she does this, right? And I'm not going to lie, I screamed. It was the most horrific, painful experience of my life, right? It felt like they were pulling the hairs out of my very soul, okay? But I'm thinking, it's going to be okay, I'm going to go home to my girlfriend and she's going to think this is really sexy and really thoughtful and it's going to make it all worth it, right? So I go home to my girlfriend, she's sat in the living room reading a book, right? And I walk in and I'm like, hey, baby! Woo! I'm not dancing to be sexy, I'm dancing because if my balls touch my leg, I'll cry. Hey, baby! I've got a surprise for you! She kind of looked and she went, what is it? Right? Ta-da! And she looked at me and she went, what the fuck has happened? And I was like, what do you mean? And she went, it looks like a Sphinx cat that's been hit by a car. And do you not find that attractive? I want to keep our relationship alive, right? I'm worried that we'll become boring, and I realise we might be becoming a boring couple because there's one major alarm bell that you've become a boring couple. My girlfriend recently went to a garden centre and came back with a sign that said "Live, Laugh, Love," and I was like, right, that is the end of our fucking lives, then, isn't it? What are they and why have they come all of a sudden the last 5 years? Hundreds of bits of distressed wood with little idioms written on them. I just don't get it. It really confuses me. Like, my mum has hundreds of them. You go to my mum's house and it says "Live, Laugh, Love," and I'm like, Mum, I've seen your marriage. None of those things are happening. Is that why you've got a sign? She can really be like, right? If you want that sign to be useful, put it in the bathroom, have it say "Shit, shower, shave." Dad might remember. Who knows, right? She's got tons of them in her kitchen, right? She's got another one. It's just on the wall, right? It just says, "When life gives you lemons, call the girls and get some gin." Like you can feel the tears, right? It's just... like father, like son. She's not back yet, is she? This is either a poo or cocaine. I'm guessing from the chat we had at the beginning of the stage, it's the latter. Anyway, these signs. And the other one, she's got a really weird one. It's a clock with no hands on it, my mum. And it just says on the front of the clock, "Prosecco o'clock." What is that? It's absolutely awful, man. I walked into the... I've gone really quiet here. I feel like I might have picked on the wrong crowd for this one. Let's talk about the signs we've got in the house. That'll be relatable. Oh, he's insulting us. She's got loads of them. Like, I went to another friend's house recently. He went, "You said gym? I thought you meant gin. You're an alcoholic. Help yourself." But my mum's got this one, right? She goes, it says "Prosecco o'clock." Right? It's huge. It's like this big in the kitchen. And I walked in the first day I saw it, and I was like, "Mum, what is that?" And she went, "Well, it's my catchphrase." Andy, you don't need a catchphrase. You're not a Little Britain character. Okay? Mostly because you're not a white man dressed up as a black woman, which most of that show was, it turns out. Who knew that would be problematic in 5 years' time? But I went, "It's not your catchphrase. I've never heard you say that before." Right? I've never heard you say that before. She goes, "It is my catchphrase. It's what me and all the girls say to each other." I'm like, "Right, Mum, stop calling them the girls. Half of them are dead. Like, let's be honest. You know, the girls are half of you are dead, half of you... No, it's not going to happen. She went, "Fine. My catchphrase." Right, okay. I'll buy into this. Let's prove it though. If that's your catchphrase, and everyone knows what you mean by Prosecco o'clock, that's the time I'm putting on your funeral invite when you die. Let's see who shows up and when. Because when all your friends rock up to our house at 7 a.m, you had a fucking problem, didn't you, Andy? Let's do that. Welcome back. Thank you. So polite, lovely. I mean, that was the end of that bit and you didn't like it, but that's fine. It's not an issue. Yeah, we've only got an hour left. I'm joking, he's got a bedtime. I've got James in the car, he's got a bedtime. Scraping at the boot. What I like though is there's one woman who's having a better time than all of you, and you love keeping me alive over there. Madam, well done, mate. And back to silence, there we go. This gig's the closest gig to a ski holiday, because you're like, come down, you're like, woo, yeah! And we get back on the lift to the top of the comedy mountain. Second night of the tour, and already I'm thinking this was a mistake. I'm joking. Last night, Guildford, they were a nightmare. I tell you what, actually, right. I've got this one thing that happened to me at Guildford last night that made me think maybe this tour will be all right. I was on stage. I was chatting to a woman in the front row who was a nurse in A&E. Right? I love talking to nurses and doctors. But if they work in A&E, I always ask them the same question that all of us are thinking the whole time. What's the best thing you've ever found up someone's bum? I think it's a really interesting question, and you get some very interesting ideas. Right? I asked a woman many years ago, what's the most interesting thing you found up someone's bum? And they went, a toilet roll, a loo brush. And I went, oh, that's fine. She went, no, bristles first. Wowzers. Right? And I said to this woman last night, I was like, this is the best one I've ever had, I think. I went, what is the best thing you've ever found up someone's bum? And she went, easy, Buzz Lightyear. I was like, that's weird. She went, that's not the worst bit, mate. The wings were deployed. And I said to her, I went, did the man explain why he'd done it? And she went, yeah. He said, you've got a friend in me. That's good. I was like, thank you very much. I'm going to tell the people at Chorley that, and they're going to love it. Right? See, and I do worry about turning into my parents. Like my dad and I don't really get on. My dad's a very gruff, angry man. I grew up in Oxford, right, which is a really nice place, but people assume that Oxford is full of like posh, intelligent people, which isn't true. Most of the people that live in Oxford are idiots. I call them oxymorons because I am funny as fuck. My dad hates posh people. My dad is a proper like working class geezer, like he's a proper lad, right? Like my dad and I, he's so laddie, right? This is still the kind of lad he is. My dad claims at 22 years old, he slept with a Playboy bunny. Which I thought was bullshit until he went for an STI test, and it turned out he had myxomatosis. So. And my dad's got a real chip on his shoulder about posh people. He hates posh people. And the people he hates, and I hate as well, are the posh university rugby boys. They're my least favourite people in the world. I don't know if you know the kind of people I'm talking about. The sort of really well-built guys, messy blonde hair, really well-dressed, normally called shit like, tarpaulin, stuff like that, you know the ones I mean? They wear gilets everywhere, those kind of posh people, gilets, and they think, oh, I'm so posh, my arms don't need to be worn. Cunts, that's the official term that I'm looking for here. Their friends Effie and Cunty, like those people, cunts. I hate them. I do hate them everywhere in Oxford. Right? And I realise I've dropped the C-bomb twice now tonight, 3 times maybe. And it's a weird word though, because people still get offended by that word, don't you? Because some people don't like it. Like you say that word to a room full of people like this, and you get one of two reactions from audience members. You get people that sat there that think it's disgusting and awful and can't believe you said it out loud, and then you get, blokes. And what I find is I say that word a lot. I'm a big swearer, because my parents are big swearers, I am as well. And the first time I ever heard the C word was when I was out shopping with my parents when I was 10 years old, right? And my mum called my dad one in front of me, right? And when I innocently asked her what it meant, she looked at me and went, well, it's just another word for a man. Well, that which isn't the kind of parenting you want, right? It doesn't help me out at all. When I'm at school the next day, we're all sat around on the carpet, everyone's like, I want to be a nurse like my mum. I want to be a vet like my Auntie Susan. Well, I want to be a cunt like my dad. But mum says I'm going to be one anyway because I have a penis, and that's all it takes. So I'm worried about turning into my dad. He's a very angry man, I think a big problem in my dad's life is, he's a proper lad. He's a proper lad with loads of laddie friends, and I'm hoping that they're not the things that have made him miserable, because I've got loads of cool friends. Like my dad's got loads of friends, old school pub lad friends that all have nicknames. I don't know what any of them are actually called. My dad's friends, they've got a few great nicknames. My favourite one, 007.5, because he's called Roger Moore and he's got a walking stick. And then there's Ditto, because he'll always have the same drink as you. Absolutely brilliant creative nicknames, right? And he's got this one friend who I find amazing. My dad's friend, Lee. And my dad's friend Lee is a Scouser, right? You're a Scouser, right? I love Scousers. They're some of the best people on the planet. However, Lee is really weird, because Lee lived in Spain for 10 years, right? And Lee does this thing where, because he's lived in Spain for 10 years, He thinks he knows better than everyone else, right? And he does that thing that when he says words that are Spanish, he says them in a Spanish accent, right? But he's the most scouse man that has ever existed. So he'll be like, oh, mate, you want to go over there to that fucking, right? And it's just such a weird thing, right? And you're like, oh, let's get a bit of fucking scranning, let's have some paella, right? It's just this weird juxtaposition. And I'd love to think he's met someone over there who lived in Liverpool for 10 years, but they're Spanish, and like, excuse me, ¿dónde es Ecoarina? Right? Does that happen? I talk stuff. My dad, he started to get angry as he's gotten older. And the thing he's angry about now is the cats that live near him. Right? He's obsessed with other people's pets, right? Because he doesn't have pets and he hates cats. But the cats seem to know this. And they seem to exclusively shit in his garden and no one else's. Right? And it's slowly driven this poor man absolutely insane. Right? If I go home now, it's all he talks about. He's slowly become a more ragged man. It's like watching Jack Nicholson in The Shining, right? Just descending into madness. If you go home now and you're talking to him, he always moves you so you can stand in front of the window, right, with the window behind you. So as he's talking to you, he goes, how's work? Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah, was it nice? Well, maybe you weren't that good. Right, so you can see if the cats are shitting in his garden. And the thing is, they're so used to him watching them, right? What happens is he goes outside, if they're shitting in the garden, he opens the garden door, he runs out, he goes, bah! Right, to scare the cats off. And they couldn't give less of a fuck. So he goes out and he goes, bah! Go! Right? And the cats don't even stop shitting, right? They're just like that. They don't even break eye contact with him. It's like they know they're pissing him off, right? If they could talk, I imagine they just go, meow, motherfucker, meow. And it's driven him so mad. He's gone through different techniques, right? He's spending money and time to try and stop the cat shitting in his garden, right? The first thing he did to stop the cats pooing in the garden is he bought hundreds of barbecue skewers and he put them in every single flower bed around his garden, right? But that didn't stop them. They're little furry ninjas, aren't they? So he had to take it up a notch. And this is where the neighbours started thinking he was mental. Because the second thing he did, he bought a little toy of Garfield, ripped off the head, and put that on a barbecue skewer in the middle of the lawn to send a message. It didn't stop them shitting in the garden, they carried on shitting underneath the Garfield head. It was actually quite funny. And I went around the house and I was like, he was absolutely losing it, right? He looked bedraggled. And I was like, mate, what's going on with these cats? And he went, look, I need to stop it, I don't know how. And it's simple. Think about it. Your garden is no man's land in the cat poo wars. So what you need to do is you need to get a pet, or you need to get a friend's pet to poo in the garden to mark their territory. And he goes, so it's unmarked territory. And I go, yeah. And he goes, all right, okay, fine, I'll do something about it. 6 weeks later, I go around the house, and it's the happiest I've ever seen my dad. Oh, can he go, son? It's the best day of my life. I was like, cool, a marriage and 2 sons, but yeah, you carry on, mate. And I went, why is it such a good day? He goes, I've managed to stop the cats shitting in my garden. I've got a new thing I do. And I'm like, oh, what'd you do? Did you get a dog round to shit in the garden? He goes, no, son, my garden, my territory. I'm like, whoa, no. I was like, what do you do? Do you pee in the garden? He goes, no, son, I take it to where I need to take it. I shit in the garden. I'm like, well, no wonder the cats have stopped coming into the garden. The first time they come in and they see a human shit, they're like, fucking hell, who lives in here? A lion? Jesus Christ, the size of this thing, right? And I was like, Dad, that is absolutely mental. I was like, did it work? He goes, it works a treat. There's only been one little hiccup. And I went, what's that? He goes, one night, I was out in the garden, I was having a poo, reading my newspaper. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Because I'm there reading the newspaper, and your little brother goes into the garage to get a drink. I'm like, okay, he goes, the security light comes on, and it lights me up, and he sees me shitting in the garden. I'm like, okay, Dad, and how did you deal with that? He goes, son, learn from your enemy. I kept shitting, I didn't break eye contact. Meow, son, fucking meow. Move on. And like, I think we all have embarrassing parents. We all think our parents are the most embarrassing ones. Like, your dad seems actually really sound. Like, you sound like a really lovely family and like a lovely couple. Do you, is he ever embarrassed you in any way?
Yeah, definitely.
What's like the most embarrassing thing your dad does?
Dance, yeah, that's a great.
Dance. Oh, mate, I mean, I think we all want to see. Dance. That's the most embarrassing thing he does for you. That's not too bad, actually. Like, you know, that's pretty good, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Because my parents are pretty embarrassing, but my best friend has the most embarrassing parents in the world. My best friend is called Tom. Tom is an idiot. That's what I need to tell you about him. He's thick. He's the kind of person when you meet them and talk to them for like 30 seconds, you think a bus should have taken you out by now. Right? That's how thick he is. I bought a t-shirt once that said OK on it, just had a big O and a big K. I bought this t-shirt and wore it around his house the first day I owned it. I walked in and went, mate! what do you think of the new t-shirt? And he went, what the fuck is an ock? Right, like he's proper. Come on, man. Be a bit smarter than that. And when we were 18 years old, he proved to me he's got the most embarrassing mum in the world, right? So he came to school, he's opposite me, he looked awful, like he hadn't slept all night. I was like, Jesus Christ, mate, tell me everything, what's happened to you? And he told me this. The night before, he was sat at home by himself on his computer, naked, watching some pornography, right? And he's having, some alone time. He's, having a... once again, I'm so sorry, you two. Like, Sandy Toxic's coming soon. I'm sure that might be more your vibe. But I feel like this is absolute smut, right? And he's wanking, right? He's having a really, like a top 10 wank, like a really top quality wank. Like a wank that when you finish it, you're embarrassed about the person you were pretending to be during it. Like one of those. You know what I mean? Like a real, oh yeah, I'm the god of sex. Like one of those ones. And he sat there and he's really. If you just look away for a little time, like sing the Archer's theme or something like that. Sorry, and you're like, right, I'm sorry, sorry, it's a bit close, isn't it? I don't want too close to you, I might get a yeast infection. I mean, come on! If you don't like that, surely, I've got nothing left for you. I don't need to beg for applause. Oh god. She's like, really like having a proper I'm like once again, Liv is having the worst time of her life. I'll come and do it for you, madam, since you'll be interested. What's your name with the lovely laugh there? Jackie. Oh, thanks, Jackie. Oh, for goodness sake, Jackie. Oh, this bit's so much longer, and you don't. This is not going well enough. Right? Sorry. Once again, really nice cut. I feel really. This is it. This is what I've got. This is when I really hope someone goes in and goes, I wonder what's happening in that room tonight? Like I was walking past on the street being like, it must be some sort of alternative theatre. Rather than the saddest strip club in Chorley. Is there a strip club in Chorley? No. No, I've got. Damn it! I once genuinely went to a strip club in Preston, and that I think was the most tragic experience of my life. I've never seen so many cesarean scars, but there we go. We're nearly there, guys. Not me nearly. Anyway. Oh.
Left hand's better.
Sorry?
Left hand's better.
Left hand's better? Fucking what? I mean, to be fair, you do all about hands, don't you? So. Do you think my left hand technique is better than my right? Is that what you're saying? I'm left-handed, that's so weird. That is the... That is sort of the creepiest thing and the best thing that's ever happened to me. Another man watching the air pump cock and going, left-handed, really? Absolute legend, mate. Absolute legend. For a man that I thought you might not enjoy this bit, you're enjoying it a bit too much. Like when I made the joke about the archers, you're like, no, fuck you, I'm committing. Taking notes. Big fan of you, Rob. This one's for Rob. Oh, it doesn't normally go on this song on stage, this bit, right? Totally lost in the moment. He's like really enjoying himself, right? Totally in his own little world. He starts to double over with pleasure. Double over with pleasure. Totally lost in the moment. He doesn't realise what's going to happen next. And he came his own face. Now, that is not the best part of the story, right? The shock of it made him stand up so quickly, he hit his head on a shelf above his desk and then knocked himself out. And this is why he has the most embarrassing parents in the world. Because the first he realises this has happened is when he wakes up 2 hours later, in bed, in his pyjamas, clean. We don't need you to work that one out, do we, Rob? Well, the culprit is there, right? And he woke up in that situation like we all would, right? Kind of went, Thank God for that, it was just a dream. God, that could be awkward for everyone involved. And then he looked on his bedside table, and there was just a note. And the note just said, "It's our little secret. Love, Mum." Right? No! No! The worst thing is, they've never talked about it since, ever. Never been mentioned. If that was my mum, she'd harass me about it. So my only options would be suicide or murder, yeah? What an awful moment to know you've shared with your mum, right? What a terrible moment to know you've shared with your mum. But on the other side, where have you been? Do you want to be shit at home or something? You need some fibre. That's what you know what? I mean, the only thing that would have been weirder is if you walked back in and another comedian was here. Something is that Matt Ford. I've shat through the shows. It's Thursday. Until he saw Chaponda up here, who's here thinking about my. What a terrible moment to know you shared with your mum, right? What an awful moment to know you shared with your mum. But on the other side of the coin, what a brilliant moment to know you shared with your son. Because think about it, it's disgusting when it happens, but totally worth it to have that in your back pocket in every single future argument. That's ammunition you're never going to get again, is it? Your son stood there being really, really cocky, being really horrible to you, going, "You know what, Mum, I hate you. I'm going out." And you can just go, "Are you going out? Because I seem to remember the time that you jizzed in your own face." So shut up. I'm going to go and do the dishes until I feel clean again. And I think we all argue, everyone argues with their parents, don't they, as they're growing up and all that. And I argued with my dad a lot when I was growing up, and really horrible arguments. The worst argument we ever had was when I was like 20, I suppose, and I walked into the kitchen, and all that happened is I walked in and I slammed the door, right? And he lost his mind at me, which I think is unacceptable. In his defence, though, the sign just fell off the wall and it just says "o'clock" now. So, I think I did everyone a favour. So I walked into the kitchen and I slammed the door, and that's all it took to send him off, right? He just went, "Don't! Don't slam my doors!" And I'm like, "Dad, mate, it's a door, don't be a dick." And he went, "Oh, don't you be a dick." And I went, "Don't you be a dick." He went, "Don't you be a dick." I went, "Don't you be a dick." He went, "Don't you be a dick." I went, "Don't you be a dick." He went, "Don't you be a dick." I went, "Don't you be a dick." He went, "Don't you be a dick." I went, "Don't you be a dick." So we're a very witty family. As we're arguing away, my mum's in the kitchen as well, doing anything she can to ignore us, just kind of going, "Well, they're both dicks. This doesn't really matter. I hate them both for ruining my vagina, but in very different ways." It was like a club policy. One in, one out. It's a direct quote from my mum on my 14th birthday. What a lovely family we are. She's over here like this, right? And this argument gets to a point very quickly where we're just yelling in each other's faces. My dad's going, "I hate you." I'm going, "Yeah? Yeah? Well, I hate you more." He's going, "I want you to leave." I'm going, "I'm going to stay because that's going to piss you off," right? Things like this. And it got worse and worse and worse until it got to a point where my dad leant into my face and said the worst thing anyone has ever said to me. We're arguing away, my dad leant into my face and just went, "The best part of you dribbled down your mum's leg." And I'm stood there a broken man. I don't know what to say back to this to win, right? I'm just kind of going, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing anyone's ever said to me. What can I say? What can I do? This is awful. How can I come back to this?" And then my mum just swooped in to save the day because she turned around and went, "How would you know? You weren't there." And then carried on. That's the show. Come up here, tell some jokes, we all forget that the world's on fire, and then we go home. That's basically my vibe on this tour. Thanks for coming along. It's lovely to see you all. I'd say come again next time, but I'll be more famous then, so I don't really need you. They might even take the IKEA barrier away. Who bloody knows? I'm not joking. I'm already famous, but the shittest level of fame you can be. That's where I exist in comedy. So any help you can give me, much appreciated. But if you've enjoyed yourself, all I say, tell people about it. Thanks. Go home, tweet about it, Facebook about it, tell all your friends. If you haven't enjoyed yourself, absolutely fine. Thank you very much for taking a chance on me. Go and tell your enemies. I couldn't give a fuck who else. I'm trying to buy a house. Just please, for God's sake. But it's true. Like, you know, I am genuinely, like, you've been an absolute joy to talk to. It's been really lovely tonight. I'll just say this one thing before I go about where I sit in the comedy world. Some of you might have come and you've heard of me before. Some of you might not have heard of me before. You might see me on like some television shows because a lot of you are up at 1 a.m. watching Channel 5, and that's pretty much my vibe of fame.
Hangover game.
But I've been on Cats Make You LOL 4.
Have I got news for you?
Sorry?
Have I got news for you?
I've never done Have I Got News for You. Red Bull, I did the Red Bull soapbox race, absolutely. That's a bloody great gig. That's going around interviewing people who don't speak English about go-karts they've made. Go to Brazil and you're like, so you've made a death trap. How are you planning for today to go? I think it go good. Right? Have you raced a go-kart before? Yes, I have raced one in Liverpool. But you've been so lovely, genuinely. Like, you know, I've been on some good. I've been fired from some very good things, but I'm the lowest level of fame. This happened to me a few months ago. I like telling people about it. So I'm like the bottom rung of the ladder. A few months ago, this is exactly where I sit as in fame. A few months ago, I was sat at home watching TV, and I was watching the TV show Pointless, right? And as I'm watching Pointless, I am an answer to a question on Pointless, which is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to me, until it turns out I'm the pointless fucking answer. I mean, I went, what? Oh God. I don't think you've ever been depressed about yourself until you've watched two men high-five over the fact that 0 in 100 people know who the fuck you are. They want $3,500, fair play to you. But hey, at least there's 85 people in Chorley that know who I am now, so you're all legends. You've genuinely been so much fun. I know I teased you about, you know, being a bit weird, but you're so lovely. Like, this theatre is one that every comedian loves to play, and it's because, you know, lovely people like you. So thank you very much for coming along. Please give a massive round of applause to Greg Burns, my wonderful